Hello to everybody involved in the pilot test for our case management software for the North Carolina Coalition Against Domestic Violence. In early June, we were given a report which was used throughout North Carolina. We were asked to create this report in our software. Here is a demonstration of that report. Please note that this report will look different in our software but still contain the same information. We've gone and created the Domestic Violence Statistical Report, which summarizes shelter activity for any given period of time. I will show you where the information needed for this report is stored in our software, and then I will show you how the report will be run and what the results will look like. The first item on the report is the number of crisis calls received to the hotline, which will be calculated from the calls in our software, which are classified as crisis calls, as shown in the calls module here. The next item is the total number of unduplicated individuals served in person, and this information is generated based on the clients who are in the system and their arrival date at the shelter to calculate activity for the required time period. The software uses arrival dates of each client to calculate the information for this report. The report will use the arrival date to help calculate all other fields required to be date specific. This also includes a summary of information based on the race of the client, the gender of the client, and the age of the individuals served. When we open up a client profile, we can see the fields of information which are being used to create the report. We can also open the client's activity sessions. This will indicate the services provided to the client or if the session was an education presentation or professional training. These sessions may include services or a session type, one or the other, or both. Back in the client summary screen, we can see the reference data for the number of support groups comes from both the age range of the clients as well as their classification as an adult client or child. In order to calculate the volunteer hours worked in agency for domestic violence, we are simply adding all administrative time worked by volunteers in the scheduler. We can also open these events individually to indicate the type of work done during this time. By going into the client profile, we are also able to select if the client is disabled, which will also be reflected on the report of how many clients served during the selected time period had a disability. From the call module, we are also able to view which calls were made while space was not available at the shelter. If we view the Referral Destinations tab, we can see how many referrals were made and where the clients were referred to. Now that we know where the data is entered, we are ready to run the report. From the report module, we select the correct report, in this case the Domestic Violence Statistical Report, and then click Execute Report or double-click the report name. We are then asked to select the desired date range to run for this report. We will select the entire month of June and then submit the report to be generated. Here we have our statistical report, which has been fully generated based on the information contained within the software and for the dates we requested. At the top of the report, we have the date range automatically labeled. The appearance of the report is different from the original, however the information it contains is the same. Lastly, by changing the date range slightly, we receive different information in the report based on the arrival and service dates in the software. These reports can be run from any date range and can be generated in seconds. If you are having trouble entering any of the information you saw contained in this video, please don't hesitate to contact Osnium Technical Support at 1-888-676-4861.